Folks, Brian, we got to play Runequest Roleplaying in Glorantha again last night in my Stranger Strange Land campaign. Chapter 3, The Waters Rising, wherein the party has gone to the village of Marsh Edge, which is near the upland marsh, hence the name, to investigate some strange goings on there that they were notified of via a duck village they had saved from the rattling wind. They have relations. So the party, having gone to the village, and I may be reiterating some of what happened in a previous episode because one of my players who couldn't play last session, we did a lot of revamping, not revamping, but reviewing for him. Oh, which puts me in place where they are. Okay, so we left the party. That night, they had gotten into the boat with the two dark trolls and headed downriver to the marsh, with Daven having done the mind read rune spell on one of the captive kidnappers. And got some, visions of pathway, what's there, and some other stuff going on. So they travel downriver at night and into the marsh. What could go wrong? Well, lucky for them, nothing happens on the way. Oh, well, that's not exactly true. There were no encounters en route down the river. But they want to try to get as far ahead of any bad guys coming behind them. So I have Engrilar. He's in Ngasi, river worshiper guy, right? So he's got some boating skill. So he's trying to use his boating skill to speed them up and get some extra distance. He ended up not fumbling the roll, but missing it badly, and so ended up taking them a little longer than it probably should have. Getting caught in eddies and not being stayed in the middle of the river and that kind of stuff. But they end up getting into the marsh, heading off to the right as they, the vision that Daven had from the kidnapper was. And I had to do a little retcon here because I had initially told them that there was this cave and they went down with these cut steps, and that's not how it really is. And that's because that's something I had from the materials I'm taking this from, where when I started looking at what's going, none of this makes any sense. So I had to rebuild the materials from scratch, which I like doing. So as a GM, that's one of the things I like doing, is taking somebody else's idea or thoughts or plans and then actually making something that makes sense. Instead of something that's got the proper CR rating and stuff like that. So they get there. There's this tower coming up out of a hill. It's been broken down. The ground level here at the swamp, where the tower is, has a window. There is a berm that's been built up around something around the hill. So the water level outside the berm is higher than the water level inside the berm. And there's like a little boat ramp kind of thing built into the berm as they come up to the tower. So the dark trolls get out, pull the boat up. One of the dark trolls and Subutai go to, sneak around, investigate. And the hill itself isn't actually a hill. Well, it is a hill, right? But it's not a normal hill because it's more like a donut where it goes up and then goes down into the middle. And Subutai notices that, though the dark turtle didn't. And Subutai also heard noises out in the water. Water, something's going on in the water out there. I ran into a number of issues during the session. Oh, and the live plays in the description. This time you can hear everybody, not just me. Where I'm trying to describe something So I'm talking to the camera using my hands, this kind of stuff. And normally I would have a side camera set up on my table, so we could, lay out melee and use counters, because that's the kind of player I like to play the game tactically like that. But we had some water damage done in the basement where my game room and home office were, and so that's all been. I had to move everything upstairs, and so I don't have full access to everything I had before. I tried setting up the camera a couple of times, but I could not get things set up right to where I could actually access the map or my drawing tablets kind of thing, and still be able to do stuff, right? So I figured I would just open up Paint, right, and bring Paint up and just draw on this Paint thing, share my screen, and draw stuff out that way. And I don't know if my computer's just bogged down. I may need to take it to Best Buy and have them clean things up or something, or if it was just, my cache was really heavy because I don't always, reboot my machine very often. But I was trying to open up Paint, and nothing was coming up, and nothing was coming up, and nothing was coming up. And so I was to start describing again, using my hands and stuff, when my Discord drops. And so I ended up just starting to shut everything down, and then all of the Paint opened like 3 or 4 times, and some other stuff popped open, and some other things I was trying to get to but wasn't quite working, hit the wrong icon or something. It's like nothing, everything all at once kind of deal. So I ended up just shutting down, restarting, getting back in the Discord server, and continue with my hand gestures after that. So there is a hill in the marsh. There is a berm around the hill. They don't know how far it actually goes, because it's nighttime. There are trees and stuff, so there's not a lot of light getting through. Sure, starlight coming through. It's a full moon, so there's this red glow up there. So there's some visibility. Plus, it's the marsh. Marsh air is just kind of thick, foggy kind of stuff. So they can't see very far, but they can see this is a fairly decent sized berm going around something. And here at this side of the berm is this tower, broken tower. Eventually they go around back, take a look at it. The top's been broken off, the backside's open. There's another level above where the ground level where they are is. And they go and try and check out the inside. They go and look at the window, and there's stairs going up and stairs going down, and some people make some special, maybe even a critical scan roll, so they can tell that stairs going down are in much better condition than the stairs going up. In fact, these have been oiled, are being maintained. They end up sending one of the trolls up the stairs. He ends up breaking through a couple times. Once on the way up, once again on the way back down. It doesn't fall through or hurt himself. It's just the stuff's breaking. But he gets up there and he tries to describe what he sees. So inside this donut shape, right? And it's not completely round either. It's roundish on this side, but it's almost straight across on the other, or it drops down in the middle. And in the middle is water on the ground. Also in the middle is a 5 meter by 5 meter 2-story tower that's got these dual V-shaped roof kind of thing with some holes in it. And on this side of the dome, as you're going down towards where the tower is, it's pretty steep. I said it went down, should have gone all the way down, so it should have been from the bottom of the mudslide at the tower. The top of the tower should have been 2 stories, but as I was describing it, I kind of had it halfway, so it's kind of possibly within range. So they're thinking, hey, could we throw a rope up there and climb to the top and come in that way? Which is a great idea. But the roof is damaged enough. There's nothing to actually get a hold of with a rope. And it's steep enough that if you start going down this, you're going all the way down. There's no way getting back up. And so if you don't end up hitting the wall of the tower, you're going to slide and go down into the water. So not really safe, but possible. So they start moving around the berm, and there's a corner of a building that's actually coming out. You can see that the rooftop of a corner sticking out of the dirt, the dome that goes around it as it goes down, kind of thing, right? So they got a corner of the building sticking out. You got a tower in the middle. As they go along, there's another shape coming out from the side of the donut edge into the center. That in fact has a peaked rooftop on it as well, but it's all covered with mud and slime and stuff. So that's not safe to be climbing on either. And as they get to the back side, it's almost, well, it's not straight down, but it's a steep slide down from the top of the berm edge down to the water. And as they're there, they're looking around. Dark Troll makes a special dark scan. And so there's something against that far wall. There's something down there. I can tell there's something down there. Everybody starts looking, and sure enough, there is a door. At the water level, it's like a piece of ground, like a beach kind of thing, piece of ground that's dry, and then water. And there's a wall, a stone wall with a door. So, okay, let's try and do that. So they go around to the other side. Okay, the trolls could let everybody down, but that means we're going to leave one of the trolls up here, kind of thing. And then there's some other description on what else they see from this side and that kind of thing. I don't think they saw the other door. So they're trying to figure out, okay, we don't want to go down through the window because we know that's the way people would expect to be coming down. They probably have guards or something, because in the vision there was guards down at the bottom of the entranceway. So they're trying to figure out, well, is it even worth trying to go down this way? So they let Restro down, and she chugs on the door, and it's not moving. Really well-worn, damaged, old door. Has not been, as far as she can tell, has not been used, in any recent memory kind of thing. But there's no way she's going to go through that. So does she think maybe the two trolls could do it? No, maybe the two trolls together could probably do that. In fact, one of the trolls, and maybe Vostor, because he's really super strong and a big guy too. Excuse me. That might work as well. So they start, brainstorming ideas on what they could do. And hey, can we go out and get some branches to stick down into the hillock? Then loop ropes around to go down, and Luke could make some stable. Sure, yeah, I don't see any issues with that. So they go back to the boat, to get off, because there's no trees on this hill at all, or in the berm, inside the berm. Go outside the berm, find some trees. They got axes and stuff. They chop some branches down, bring them back, pound them down really deep into the earth as far as they can, kind of thing. Make it nice and sturdy, 2 or 3 of them, kind of thing, and tie ropes off on it. Make sure it's all nice and good. Yeah, no real issues there. I didn't have any problems with that. And then they start, Arrestra goes down. And once she gets down, there's an encounter roll. There are alligators in the center pond, pool, whatever. And there's one that's coming up on her. And it doesn't make its move quietly roll, so I'll let her do, it's either a scan or a listen kind of thing, but she makes it. So she turns, okay, there's an alligator, he's attacking. So no surprise, but combat. So she pulls her shield and axe, right? And turns to the alligator, and the alligator moves up on the land. Alligators, they're crocodiles, river dragons, they're called in Glorantha. Really don't have that great of attacks. These guys are like in the 30s. So snap, snap, snap. And she ends up doing a parry against one of the attacks, and then does a counter, a strike type thing to the head. It ends up hitting the head. And it got me thinking again about this whole issue with animals, fighting animals, right? I think every animal should have an instinctual dodge skill, but not every animal in the bestiary has a dodge skill. Some do, but not all. But it kind of goes, they should, right? And if you are parrying a bite attack, right, are you really going to damage the creature's head with your parry? I don't know. Now, having done some sword and shield stuff with the SCA, when someone attacks at you, how do you parry? Shield, edge punch. That's how you block a blow. Punch the weapon away, that kind of thing. Head bites up at you, pound it down. So I can kind of see that maybe, but it didn't feel right to me. So anyway, she's fighting the alligator. Next guy gets down, Engelar, and he gets down, pulls his sword and shield, and starts to help her. But by that time, because it actually took him a couple rounds to get down, missed the climbing roll on the way, that kind of thing. So hold on, let me reseat myself. At that time, 2 more came up, and so he's fighting. The 2 of them, the 2 new ones, are fighting him. And by the time that combat's going on, the first one fighting Restra is unconscious, and she whacks it again on the head to kill it, make sure it's dead. And she turns to help him with these alligators. I think at this point, David is starting to come down. Subutai up top, shooting down with his bow, doing aim shots to the alligator. I kind of use aim shots to get around you're fighting into combat, fighting into melee kind of thing. So if you're aiming at the head and you hit it in the head. I started double thinking that when we started rolling dice again, because what if you missed the aim shot to the head, but were within your normal strike rank? Should I just go ahead then and just roll, see who or what you did hit? That kind of thing. I kind of think maybe I should, but I kind of gave this whole make a headshot so you don't have, or make an aim shot so you don't have to worry about this melee thing as a Benny. And if I step back on that, especially without not first introducing, hey, like next session, I'm going to introduce this. Hey, this is how I feel about it from our last session. Make an aim shot, but you missed the aim shot, but it was well enough to hit target. We roll to see what got hit. Now, I also have this thing about, well, there's actually a size bonus thing in RQ3, which probably should have applied to these guys. Not much, but something. Plus, these are 2 hex creatures as far as I have them designed, because I'm a hex kind of guy. So if you're shooting at the alligator's head, 2 hexes of alligator, 1 hex of Restra, you missed the headshot, but you hit. There's 2 hexes of alligator plus hex of Restra. Roll D3. Where did you hit, kind of thing. And in the same situation, you've got this alligator who's Restra's fighting, right? She's fighting at this 2 hex long creature. She's not going to be hitting the tail. She's not going to be hitting the rear legs. They're a whole hex away. They're out of range. So I just had to roll, a D10 plus 10. The upper half of the body kind of thing. And did the flip side for that, where she was on the back of the other alligators fighting, and they're fighting against Engelar. She's only got the back end to attack, so it's just tail and legs and abdomen kind of stuff. So I apply all that kind of stuff to my game. The alligator fighting Engelar gets knocked unconscious in the head, gets to -1, so it's unconscious. The other one got hit a couple times and then takes off. It got down to half hit points. This is not worth it, guys. So he swims away. And there's this whole attacks of opportunity kind of thing. If somebody just pulls out of melee, you get to attack them. Not if they move out before you can attack. If your strike rank 7 and they can their dex strike rank is 3, turn and move on 4, no, you're not going to hit them. So that helps give a chance for people to actually run away, to escape. And I played it. It's one off in the water. So everybody gets down. The 2 trolls, the door opens into the hallway. So the 2 trolls pop it right open. They both have over 20 strength. They both have over 20 size, for that matter, too. So pow, they knock it open. And they look around inside. And this is when we start asking questions like, who's got the lantern? So we had to retcon back to, okay, nobody's got torches or lanterns or fire-making stuff on their character sheets. So, okay, the chieftain, when he sent you out, would have given you a lantern and fire-making stuff so that you guys can have light. He would have done that. So Subutai takes the lantern because the trolls, they peep in to the right. It goes 8 feet maybe, and there's a cave in. It's all blocked. The other way goes as far as she can see. See dark scan, and it's a wide open hallway. So they come in, marching order, lantern in the middle, and they go down. There's 3 doors on the right hand side of this hallway as they're going up, down, whatever. And I had actually missed one of them. The first 2 are unlocked, so the rest of it, she's just checking to see if they open easily or not. Do they open? And the first 2 do. She'll take a quick look in. And these first 2 rooms are completely empty. They're like 2 by 4 meters. One going south, the other going north. And there's the 3rd door, I forgot to mention, but mentioned afterwards, but it was locked, so she would have bypassed it. Okay, it's locked, keep going. It gets to the end of this corridor, and it turns to the left. But to the right is an opening that went somewhere, but it's been all caved in. So they turn to the left, and immediately to their left, as soon as they come around the corner, there's an opening into a room. And then the hallway continues on. So there's some discussion at this point, because at this point, the player for Subutai wants to start mapping and make sure he's got it all straight. So we reiterated a handful of things. So he got some stuff a little confused. But, I laid it out as best I could. And so Marissa, ducks into this room, and there is a long table with 2 benches, one on each side, and there's actually a lantern on this table, and it's lit. So actually they would have seen the light as they were coming up on it, but I meant to mention that, but it didn't get to that point because I was describing this going around kind of stuff. So obviously something's going on around here. There's this room. At the far end of the room is another entrance to something else beyond. So there's a little discussion. Okay, do we go into this room and check it further on, or we just go down the hallway? And let's go down the hallway. So head down the hallway, and on the right-hand side again is there's three or 4 doors. They see the first couple. Rest of it, same thing. Does the door open easily? Yeah, it does. And as soon as she opens it, there's a shout from inside. Hey! So, tactical game. Rest of it, what are you going to do? So she's going to enter the room. Obviously, there's bad guys here going to attack. She wants to do a befuddle first and then move to attack. She can get the befuddle off. They're doing statements of intent, right? She can get the befuddle off, movement, and engage, but she doesn't have enough strike ranks to actually make an attack. The troll behind her follows in, goes to the far end where there's 4 people, bunk beds essentially, 2 bunks, 2 sets of bunks. There's a couple weapons racks with shields and spears. And so she goes to engage the guy in the bottom bunk. Behind them is Subutai. Subutai comes in with his cat and his sword and the lantern. And he goes to attack the guy in the top bunk and wants the cat to attack the guy in the top bunk as well. So have the cat make a jump roll. Okay, the cat comes in, attack, and jumps up. Made the jump. It's not a problem, right? Do an attack. And then David is next in line. He comes in and engages the 4th guy. So the room is not full, but everybody's engaged, and there's no way to get around the folks that are engaged to engage in anybody. So at that point, Angrelar steps forward, watching down the hallway, casts Heal 2 on his leg. I think the alligator bit him. Vostor peeks into the room, sees what's going on. There's not really, so he's kind of just standing there, looking up and down both hallways, and the rear troll is watching behind him. We did a couple rounds of combat, and one of the things that I do, because I convert a lot of materials from other systems, and most other systems are all level hack and slash kind of stuff, and so I've been trying to keep things to be reasonable for the world, right? But not overpowering to the players. So one of the things that I've been dealing with in my world and in my system, game system and stuff is this whole thing of initiation, cult initiation. Now, everybody's an adult is initiated into their clan and are adults, are eligible to initiate into a cult, and it's Mythic Bronze Age. So in my Glorantha, when you initiate into adulthood, You go in as a child, you come out as an adult. Some people are special, and they come out initiated by a god as well. So when they go through their initiation process, a deity will reach out and touch them. You are chosen by me. Now, the actual game system is the player chooses the deity, right? So some folks come out 16 initiated into a cult. No, certainly not by any stretch of the imagination many or most, right? So, most grown adults with children, right, have a position in society, a position in their clan and their culture. They may most likely be initiated into a cult. If they're in any kind of position of authority, they're definitely going to be initiated into a cult, that kind of thing, right? So a lot of bad guys are going to be just lay members, and so they'll have a handful of spirit magic spells. Most likely, no rune magic at all. So these guys in here have got some rune magic, and so it's all randomized for me. I got spreadsheets and VR lookup tables and stuff like that, right? So it's all random what these guys have, which is cool by me. One guy had actually a protection 5. Another guy had protection 2, dull blade 1. One guy had disruption. A couple of them had befuddle, I think it was. So they're up, and all they got is a couple of spirit magic spells they can try and get off. And so they're trying to cast some spirit magic, whether it's offensive or defensive. What they have that's effective for, hey, we're being run in upon. And a couple of them get their stuff off. The disruption got power versus power, didn't make it through. The dark troll, right? Special attack with her heavy mace. Guy, special dodge. Now his dodge, because he's not trained people, right? His dodge was like 19%. He rolled like an odd 3. So he got saved for a whole round because she got him with a special the next round. 20 points of damage to the abdomen. Wow. And she actually rolled poorly on her damage. So these trolls are tough. Top guy, super tie hit with his sword. The cat got there and tore his face, or bit his face. Put his face to -1. So he goes unconscious. Other two, I think one of them got hit. And one of them did some magic on David, who's my sorcerer. And but he's got his counter magic, just negate magic, I think is what the sorcerer spell is, up for like a couple weeks. I think is what the duration of those things. But it's a 4-point thing. So if it's a 2-point spirit magic spell, it's automatically dispelled. And that's why he designed it that way. Because most spells, could be disruption or befuddle, or there's another one's a 2-point spell, right? So if it's 4 points, those are all gone, right? Don't even have to roll. I think I was doing a disruption on him, and so it didn't work. So I guess it actually happened. It worked, yay! But at that point, we were hitting midnight, and so we cut off after that. I think it was the second round of combat. 30 minutes. Sorry, guys. This ran pretty long, but then combat kind of does that. Plus, I'm explaining stuff as I go along. If you have any ideas or comments about my own discussions and decisions in playing my game, because I know a lot of RQG players, even though it is a very tactical design system, don't have to play a very tactical design game like I do. I enjoy that. That's what I like to do. And so a lot of this may not even make any sense or doesn't interest them at all. C'est la vie. But what's going to be really interesting is when they get a chance to look at these guys after they're all dead and realize that these are just farmers from Marsh Edge. Happy gaming.